Recording in progress.
Good morning, Alan Kuludeko. Are we correcting?
Good morning, Chair. Standing Committee on Finance. Yes, it forms a quorum.
Morning, Chair. Even the Select Committee on Finance has a quorum, Chair.
Okay. Look.
Aye, Chair.
The President of welcome members of the Select and the State Committee Finance from both houses. Welcome National Treasury, resource and other agencies, PPO, FFC, and everybody who was in attendance. Do we have apologies?
No apologies from Standing Committee on Finance, Chair.
From the Select Committee on Finance, yes, Chairperson, we have an apology from Mr. Khadebe.
Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next item. Consideration and adoption of the report on 2024 revised fiscal framework and revenue proposal. Can you flight the report? Because the report has been sent to members yesterday, I take it that the report, members have gone through the report. So we'll go straight to observations and recommendations. If ever there are issues that members who correct previous sections of the report, you can forward that to the Secretariat. Can you go to observations and recommendations? Seven. Members who are on 7.1 agreed.
Agreed, Chairperson.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7.2 agreed. Agreed.
7.2 agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7.3 agreed.
7.3 agreed to, Chair.
Agreed. 7.4
Aye, Chair. Mr. Ryder would like to raise an issue on 7.4.
Honorable Ryder.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honourable members, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Chair, I did send an email this morning just highlighting my concerns, and 7.4 I don't believe captures what was discussed in the committee adequately. Certainly there was a view that was put forward, But we actually addressed the concerns that were raised. And in fact, there seemed to be broad agreement that whilst there's agreement that the MTDP has not yet been formally adopted, that this needs to be given a fair amount of time. Noting that we do have a new government, we've got a new reality whereby things can negotiate a little bit better. And rather than have a quick answer, we'd prefer to have a correct answer. So I have proposed a slightly different wording to this paragraph. I have placed the proposed wording both on email circulated this morning, but also I've just placed it in the chat, Chairperson. I'm not sure if you want me to read it out or if people would prefer to just reading out might be better for the record of the meeting. With your indulgence, Chair.
Yeah, you can read to us this your proposal.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair. So I'm proposing that we state that the committee notes that the medium-term development plan has not yet been formally adopted by government. The committee acknowledged that the negotiation and construction of a workable, sustainable, and implementable plan should be given due care, and that while time is of the essence, the crafting of this document should be done with proper consultation within the new political reality that the country is now enjoying. Members highlighted that without an approved MTDP, there is a risk of misalignment between budgeting priorities and the objectives of the NDP, particularly regarding aviation and addressing inequality. The committee notes that an adopted plan will guide the strategic focus of fiscal planning and looks forward to the adoption of a plan without undue delay. Chair, I'd like to submit that strikes a balance between the original paragraph. It addresses some of the concerns that were raised in committee, but it also enables government to have some space and leeway to get work. I submit, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Ryder. Members, there we are. That's a submission by Honorable Ryder. Any take?
Person, can you hear me?
Honorable Squadron, can you hear me? Or is it me who has got a... Honorable Squadron.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Chair. Chair, I actually hear what Honorable Ryder is saying. However, Chair, what Honorable Ryder is proposing, it has got much to do with the executive than this portfolio committee, than this standing committee, because if you start talking about things that are supposed to happen, taking shape within the executive committee, and we are the ones that are dealing with the budget, and we want to say what the executive committee must tell us, I think will be, going beyond our mandate as a committee. So I thought perhaps what the statement that is forwarding to the joint committee, it's more of what could be said by the executive than us. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Squadron. I see a hand of Honorable Swart.
Yes, Chair, thank you very much. Now, I just wanted to second the proposal of Honorable Ryder.
Aye, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Swart second, but Honorable Squati raises the issues of separation of powers. How do we reconcile that, Honorable Ryder?
Sorry, Chair. There was a hand from Mr. Van Rooyen as well.
Okay. Honorable Van Rooyen?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I'm struggling with my network connection. I'm not sure what's the problem today. Thank you very much, Chair, and a very good morning to all members who are in the platform and officials, of course. Chair, I think Honorable Squati got a point as to what delayed the executive to present or table the medium-term development plan as expected. Shouldn't be our responsibility. Well, we appreciate the information that Honorable Ryder is bringing to attention. That's something that has never been presented to us formally by the minister as a representative of the executive. So I think let's not take the responsibility of the executive. We appreciate that some of them, we are close to them. But truly speaking, as a committee, we should be focusing on what we know. We don't know what delayed them. So we can't come here and be their their voice. They should come through the Minister of Finance and account accordingly to this committee. So I fully agree with Honorable Squati. This paragraph, the way it's captured by the Secretariat, it's appropriate, and I think it should be allowed to proceed as captured. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Van Rooyen. Honorable Ryder, are you persuaded with the inputs from your colleagues in regards to how we should deal with this matter?
And the majority needs to have its way.
Honorable Ryder, I didn't get you properly.
Chairperson, as I said, I'm not necessarily persuaded. I'm of the view that, again, as I said today, as I said last week in committee, I'd rather have a good document than a quick document. So I'm not persuaded. And the majority view will need to hold.
So majority view, meaning that we should vote, or you want me to open to more members to comment on your proposal? Because you got a seconder, and Mr. Honorable Squati also got a seconder. So how do we deal with that moving forward? And you still have a long way to go here. I hope you don't want us to vote. Anyone who can reconcile the two views, Honorable Bateman.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I was actually just going to ask, is there not some way that we could get a sort of a middle ground in terms of the way we word it? Maybe, for example, saying some members felt this, other members felt that, or something like that. I don't know, just a suggestion.
Okay. Thanks, Honorable Bateman. Oh, Honorable Galeka, you have withdrawn your hand. Okay, we'll find a way of how we can paraphrase it, accommodating all the views. Honorable Squati. Honorable Squati.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, I was saying, perhaps, you know, I don't really disagree with the sentiment, but for us as a committee to go and give a reason, and the executive come and say, but we have never said this. You know, it's because now we are saying this is what could have we are making an assumption that this is what could have caused the delay. Perhaps I think for us to reconcile is to acknowledge that perhaps the executive or the minister must do this and make a suggestion instead of us giving a reason, because the executive can come and say, but we have never uttered such a statement. And what are we going to say as a committee? So I think we should not actually speak for them, but at least acknowledge that this has happened, and therefore there is a need to bring about a remedial action to deal with that shortcoming, instead of us giving a reason on behalf of the executive. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Scott. Let's acknowledge that there is this shortcoming in regard to MTDP, and go further to say that in the next appearance of the minister in the committee, be it a select or a standing committee, the minister must give explanation to the two committees as to why is there a delay in adopting the MTDP by the executive, so that they speak for themselves. So the sooner we get the minister to come to Parliament to give the reasons, the better, so that we make sure that we observe the separation of the doctrine of the separation of powers. So it has to be the minister who must speak for himself as to where is the problem. Because moving forward to the budget, remember, this is not the budget, it's a revised statement. Moving forward to the budget in February, we will want to get an undertaking from the minister that there should be a framework in place to guide that budget. Can we agree moving forward?
Yeah, let's do that, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Ryder. Honorable Van Rooyen.
Thank you, Chair. I fully concur with your approach.
Okay, thanks very much. Honorable Mautwa.
Good morning, Chair. I agree with your approach. Thank you.
7-5. Agreed.
Seven five agreed,
Agreed,
Chair.
Chair.
Agreed. 7-6. In here, adjustments to non-interest
Agreed,
expenditure. Agreed. 7-7. Agreed. 7-7.
The fact, agreed.
Agreed. 7.8.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7-9. GFIP. It also agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7.10. Agreed.
This was the concern of the committee, Chair. I'm agreeing to it.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7-11. Agreed.
Agreed, Chairperson.
Agreed. 712. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Good.
Agreed. 713. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 714.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 715. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. Debt management, balance approaches to consolidation. 716. Debt management. 716. Agreed.
Chairperson, if I may.
Yes, Honorable Rider.
Mr. Kieswetter went to some lengths to explain some of the steps that South African Revenue Service has already taken in order to ensure that there is increased tax compliance. And I think this was widely applauded by the committee. In terms of that, just noting the last paragraph of this item, it says there that the committee urges National Treasury to explore avenues for improving tax compliance. I just advocate for, in acknowledgement of the work that's been done, I'd advocate for adding the words continue to, so that the paragraph reads, the committee urges National Treasury to continue to explore improving tax compliance, because there has been good work done on this in the past. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Van Rijn.
Chair. I think the other point that we emphasized, and which is not properly captured here, is the aspect of collection, because there's a difference between collection and compliance. We went further to say the National Treasury must explore advanced technological mechanism to enhance tax collection, and of course compliance, because the issue of technology was also properly emphasized in our discussion, because we have realized that it's only through advanced technological system that compliance and collection can be enhanced. And that came out from the presentation that was made by the commissioner himself, when he demonstrated how advanced technological system made them to realize returns of quite a substantial amount. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Van Rijn. Yeah, we'll capture that and what is the point raised by Honorable Rider. We'll paraphrase and accommodate those points. Honorable Brett.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm not going to switch on my video. The data is very unstable. If that is the situation, I'm going to propose that it reads better, that it be amended to read, the committee urges National Treasury to continue to explore avenues for improving tax compliance and collection and stimulating economic growth. So it's only a slight amendment of Honourable Van Rooyen's proposal.
Okay, thanks, Honourable Brett. It will accommodate both collection and compliance in the statement. Thanks. Agreed. 716. 717. Agreed. Honorable members, 717, agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 718. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. Honorable Van Rooyen. Still on 718.
All right, thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm stuck with your meeting protocol. I must raise hand before I speak, so I can see other members are overtaking me. I'm not sure if we are all following the same protocol. Chair, I think the issue of the debt reduction projections, it was debated and it was questioned, and I don't see it coming out clearly here as to how realistic are these projections, based on the fact that some of the undertakings are not new. They are more of an iteration, and those projections were never realized. I think there was a question posed as to how realistic are these debt reduction projections. I will obviously, I'm seeking your advice there, because it seems as if there's nowhere where this particular concern is captured. You know, the authenticity of these debt reduction projections. Thank you.
Thanks. Let me check with Dr. Hlophe, because this is quite a very long section. If what Honorable Van Rooyen is raising is not captured anywhere. Dr. Hlophe, did you grasp what Honorable Van Rooyen is raising?
Yes, good morning, Chairperson and members. I could, we could redraft to accommodate Honorable Member Van Rooyen, but I was thinking that the last paragraph really speaks to that, although in a very mild manner, because it says the committee recommends NT to adopt contingency measures to safeguard deficit targets, ensuring that fiscal stability is there. And I think that talks to that issue, but we can rephrase to make it clear what Honorable Van Rooyen was saying.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Hlophe. Honorable Business.
Thanks, Chair. I don't know where it will go, so I just want it to be noted so it's not forgotten. Just about the size of the cabinet. You know, we're talking about fiscal consolidation and austerity measures, but the cabinet has just got bigger. So I just don't know if that can find expression somewhere in this document whilst we're talking about expenditure. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so Honorable Business, let me get to it clearly. You say we must talk about the expansion of the cabinet in this report. How does that have to do with this report? Let me get it clear before we agree to what you are raising.
Now, it comes to austerity measures. You know, we're telling everybody that they need to tighten the belt, but cabinet is getting, you know, it's getting bigger and bigger. So we're asking everybody to spend less, but the cabinet is spending more. Yeah, that's just my view and Action SA's viewpoint. Thanks.
I think keep it to the party, because, you know, if we want to question the president's prerogative as parliament, it will create a problem for this parliament, because the president is given those powers in terms of the constitution to constitute the executive. The executive is both ministers and deputy ministers, but cabinet is only ministers. So let's treat very carefully in that regard. We'll find a way of dealing with this matter, but without encroaching into the powers of the head of state and the head of government. Okay. Agreed. 718. Honorable members? Agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 719? Agreed?
Agree, Chair.
Agreed. 720? Agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 721? Agreed? (7.21) agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Sorry, Chair.
Agreed. Honorable Van Rooyen?
Chair, I know it might not be necessary for us to deal with how do we effect our call for transparency. But I think, Chair, it will be important because remember, the GFRECRA provision is currently being implemented. And the transparency means we should be knowing how this thing is being implemented while it's being implemented. So we shouldn't wait for it to be the allocations to be assigned completely or allocated completely, and then we come at a later stage to request National Treasury, and we say the process was transparent. My humble submission, Chair, is that we shouldn't forget that the committee must, as agreed with National Treasury, must request National Treasury to detail, to give us a report, maybe quarterly, around the implementation of this particular provision. Even if we are not citing it here, but I think it's important to bring it to the attention of the committee that this process is ongoing. So transparency means committee being taken through the whole process. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Agreed. 721? Okay. 722? Agreed? Agreed, honorable members?
Agreed, Chairperson.
Agreed.
Agreed.
723? Agreed? Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. 724? Agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. Revenue collection and the tax gap? 725? Agreed? Agreed, members?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 726, the tax gap and retaining capacity, enhancing digital capacity and retaining critical skills. 726, agreed? Agreed. 727, agreed? Is what we discussed earlier when we spoke about giving SARS more resources to modernize their system so as to bolster tax compliance. Agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 728. Agreed. 728. Okay. Honorable Bateman, then Honorable Beasley. Honorable Bateman.
Thanks, Chair. I've got maybe a caution on this one, which I mean I could agree to it, but I would then want to include a 7.29, a new item. As I indicated, I'll just give a little bit of background. You might remember that in my maiden speech, I addressed the issue of youth unemployment. and the connection between high tax rates and unemployment. And I argued that high tax rates erode savings, erode corporate profits, and erode international competitiveness, and that those three factors lead to a reduction in direct private sector investment, and that therefore inhibits economic growth and it inhibits job creation. And if anybody wants to have a look at that in a bit more detail, that was when we did the budget vote 8, the National Treasury budget vote. And so I would just express caution here around actions to increase the rates of tax and the burden of tax, because they erode economic growth and job creation. And in general, while I think we can look at how we raise tax, we can certainly close the gaps. We must do that. But I think our overall effect, we need to look very carefully on what do our tax decisions, what effect do they have on the level of private sector, direct private sector investment? Because that's I think a key reason why our growth rates have been so low and why our unemployment rates are so high. And so what I would propose is a new item, 7.29, as follows. The committee recognizes that high tax rates in general are an inhibitor to economic growth and job creation, or you could say excessive tax rates. And therefore, government's commitment to a pro-growth agenda and a pro-employment creation agenda should include consideration of ways to reduce taxation in order to boost savings, investment, international competitiveness, growth, and employment. I would submit that to the committee.
Okay. Honorable Business. Then Honorable Van
Yeah,
Ryn.
thanks, Chair. So in terms of the increased taxing, it's certainly something that, I would, as Action SA, we would support. I mean, we mentioned that there's 800 billion tax gap that remains uncollected by SARS. That should be our first port of call before we start looking at raising tax, Chair. So I think we should focus on this 800 billion tax gap that we have as opposed to actual raising here.
Okay, thanks, Honorable Business. Honorable Van Ryn.
I think the committee is very clear at one point. I'm just trying to look at that point, 7.28. We are not speaking of tax in general terms. We are specific on which tax regime must be targeted in terms of increment, so as we are also not overburdening certain sectors, mostly the vulnerable sectors of our society. So I think it will be good if the increment that is being referred to, it got some specifics in it, because obviously we can't broadly say taxes must not be increased without being specific. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Van Ryn. Honorable Squati, Honorable Ryder.
Thanks, Chair. Getting the concern that is being raised, perhaps instead of saying high taxes cause this, because then it's like it's a conclusion, perhaps could, because then that is subjected to the exploratory way that we are talking about investigations. Because if we say we explore, it means we must investigate. So it could, after investigations, if it's found that it will negatively impact on the growth, then obviously you'll not take that as a policy direction. But if we can then say, instead of will, we say it could, because then that is subjected to further investigations. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Squati. Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, so I like what Mr. Bateman has introduced, and I do think that we need to be cautious with our new taxes. And I particularly want to go back to a discussion that arose out of the public participation process, where we spoke about modeling and modeling impacts or modeling showing the impacts of decisions. So yeah, I do think that Mr. Bateman's suggestion for moderating the language in this is important, and rather than being seen to be proposing additional taxes, by all means investigate the potential for different taxes. But I do think that whatever the outcomes of those investigations are, they do need to be discussed with this committee before they're just unilaterally implemented. So I do think that adding something into this paragraph that cause it to be a little bit more circumspect or to approach this carefully, because it's well documented that people who are wealthy have the means to shift their money around seemingly at will. And if you create a punitive tax environment, you see an outflow of potentially income in other places. And then not only are you not collecting additional amounts, you're actually harming your current levels of collection. So we must be quite cautious about what we do, understanding for every action there can be an opposite reaction that might not only be equal, but might actually push us backwards. So I do think that we need to approach this area with supreme caution. And yeah, look, I mean, any new tax, I'm not in favor of at this stage. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, members. SARS has done a scientific study, empirical analysis and conclusion as to which are the areas that they should put more emphasis and focus on to enhance revenue. As you can see that they have got a shortfall of more than 20 billion. And if you remember, the SARS commissioner has mentioned those areas, and even in their report. Dr. Hlophe, can we check that report of SARS as to which are the areas that the commissioner has emphasized, which if there is effectiveness in terms of tax collection, they can boost the revenue, so that we are empirical in terms of the issues that we're raising. Thanks. 7:30, agreed. Are we agreed? Unemployment.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 731.
Chair, I have some concerns with 731, if I may.
Yes, Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. The paragraph 731 relates to a meeting that says, and it says the committee met with SARB on 10th of October 2024. The committee didn't, the standing committee, the select committee did not have such a meeting. So this can't find its way in its current form into our report, Chairperson. So that's the first point. I'd like to advocate for the removal of 731. But one cannot address 731 without simultaneously addressing 732. And both of these paragraphs relate to the South African Reserve Bank, which, and I mean, 731 says, while noting that SARB is independent, and then goes ahead and makes a recommendation anyway. So I don't believe that this committee has the mandate to make recommendations to the South African Reserve Bank. I do believe we have the mandate to make recommendations to the Minister and to Treasury. So I'd advocate actually for the removal of in their entirety, because we simply, I mean, similar to instructing the president on the size of his cabinet, we can't be instructing SARB on their programs of action, etc. So I think we can perhaps, if you desperately want to, put in a paragraph there saying that the mandate of SARB needs to be reviewed. But as it stands, I don't give any place in a report which will find its way into the budget review document in February, but with us recommending to an independent body, I think it's highly inappropriate. So yeah, at the very least, we need to rephrase these to make recommendations to the Minister and to Treasury. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Let me clarify. I think 731 and 732 will apply to the standing committee and not to the select committee. As we are going to adopt the report at the end, the standing committee will adopt first, then the select committee will adopt after. So the two paragraphs will apply for the standing committee. They won't apply for the select committee. But be that as it may, the independence of the Reserve Bank does not mean that they are not held accountable to Parliament. They are not independent to an extent that they account to themselves. No, they account to Parliament. So I think that should be clear. And they do also, they don't just come here just for compliance. We take decisions in their presence. I think that should be very clear. If you look at the Reserve Bank Act and the Constitution, it's quite very clear on their accountability. So for 731 and 732 will only apply to the standing committee and not to the select committee. Honorable Bateman.
Thank you, Chair. So just two things. I'll comment on 7.31 and 7.32, and then I just had a question about the previous suggestion that I made. So on 7.31 and 7.32, I think these are items that we really ought to discuss before making a recommendation on what SARB should do, if we feel that it is appropriate for us to make a recommendation. And I don't know that we've really had an opportunity to discuss and debate. You know, I think as a sort of a broad principle, in general, low inflation is helpful for economic growth and for job creation because it makes it easier to plan and it provides us more stability in terms of the currency, and that's generally attractive for investment, and then that stimulates economic growth and job creation. So, you know, I don't know, firstly, that it's really our place to be micromanaging the Reserve Bank in terms of the decisions they're making about interest rates. But secondly, I think they are applying their minds to what's in the best long-term interests of the country for the sake of ultimately for the sake of economic growth and job creation, although their immediate mandate is around the stability of the currency measured in terms of buying power. But I think, I mean, these are things we could discuss. I don't think, I mean, I'm not at a point where I would be happy to say, you know, we should tell them off that they're not, you know, they're not easing their monetary policy really quickly enough. I mean, I've heard all sorts of quite wonderful theories about, you know, why we should be reducing rates. And I'm not sure that necessarily everybody on this committee is an expert on the ins and outs of how to manage monetary policy. So, but not that we can't learn and discover, but I don't think we've really had an opportunity to dig down deep into the arguments for and against, let alone make a recommendation on how they should be doing their job. That's my first comment. And my second one is I just wanted to know, I know Honourable Sekwati had a suggestion for rewording slightly what I'd proposed as a new 7.29. And I just wanted to check, I didn't gather from the end of that conversation whether the new 7.29 was inserted after 7.28. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Secretariat will assist us with the paraphrasing. Honorable Bateman, we can't have the Reserve Bank coming here. They talk to us, they leave. We don't say anything. Look at when the Fed, the Reserve, appear before the Senate in America. Members of Congress make their views clear because they represent the constituency of America. So it's not that when we say the Reserve Bank is independent, then we mustn't say anything. And you come here and say, we are not experts on monetary policy. But I hope you are not saying that we are illiterate. We have been elected, including yourself, by the public to represent their interests. And the public is saying that the interest rates in South Africa are very high. They have never been reduced for the past 4 years. Can SARB look at that? We don't sit in the MPC. At the end, it is them that are going to take the decision. So what we are saying here represent that comes from the constituencies that we are representing. But decision-making is left to them. But to keep quiet, it will not be honest to the constituencies that we have elected us, who are in serious pressure when it comes to bond, to this and that loan and that loan. That's the spirit in which we're discussing this matter. I hope that is clear to all of us here. How SARB come here. SARB account to Parliament, does not account to the minister. That must be very clear. It's an independent body. All independent bodies are accountable directly to Parliament. And they also take mandate from us here. Thanks very much. But decision-making is independent because they've got structures that take those decisions. So in regard to the issue that you have raised on 729, we'll attend to it and Secretariat will advise when we come to the end of the report how they've paraphrased it. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks. 732. We have done with that. 733. Honorable Van Rooyen.
Anfar, Chair, Anfar.
Thanks, Honorable Van Rooyen. 734, Operation Vulindlela.
Apologies, Chair.
Honorable Bateman. And
Thank you,
Honorable Majola. Yes, Honorable Bateman.
Sorry, I just with regard to 7.33, I just wasn't. Sorry. In fact, I'm going to withdraw I'm going to withdraw my interruption. That's fine. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Honorable Majola.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, with regards to 7.34, the Operation Vulindlela, Chair, I fully agree that we have to explore any avenue available in terms of addressing the very three critical areas, one being to advance the economic growth, which is very struggling, the revenue enhancement. But Chair, with regards to the Operation Vulindlela, as we are about to engage into phase 2 of it, when you look at what the Operation Vulindlela phase 1 produced, well, it's still a struggling 1.1% economic growth and very high unemployment rate. And well, it gives concern to one as to whether phase 2 will fulfill what is intended. Well, without a proper plan as to how is this Vulindlela, whether we Vulindlela or we're closing it, we raise it at a before that we need to be convinced as how is it going to address or fulfill the intended very critical, important outcomes. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Machola. When the minister appears before this committee in the next session, he will have to explain to us all those issues that we have raised, which are quite very important. They are all also related to what was discussed before, the issue of cabinet moving faster to adopt the MTBP, which I will hope will include phase 2 of Operation Vulindlela. Thanks. 735.
Chair, my hand is up
sorry.
on 735.
Oh, sorry, Honorable Mountain.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair. Chair, I don't think we should say that we commend Operation Vulindlela reforms, because if you look at what it has achieved since its pronouncement by the president, it has not yielded the intended results. It was meant to create jobs, as the paragraph itself suggests, but the reality is that there's more and more unemployment. It is meant, the way it's being approached, it's more like a privatization of state-owned entities. And I'll give an example with Eskom as an example, where it's talk about transmission and be more on the private side, something that Eskom has got capacity to do. So instead of government giving money to Eskom, it's giving money to private companies to actually do and compete with Eskom being, disadvantaged a bit. If you look at water, it's the same thing as giving licenses to private ownership instead of giving that money to state entities. So I don't think we should say we commend it. We can say we note it or we recognize it. But to say we commend it's as if it has brought about so much change that we all commend it. But the reality is that it's not. It's taking away from the state. You won't see job creation out of this, because once you privatize, more and more jobs will be lost, because private companies are for profit, but not for, building the nation and all that. So it's not really aligned to job growth, job creation, revenue. It's not, Chair. So I don't think we should say we commend it. We can say we note the Operation Vulindlela reforms, or we recognize it, or something. But to say we commend it, it's a bit off for us. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Mauta. Okay. 736. Agreed. Agreed. 736.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 737. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 738. Agreed.
Good.
Agreed. SOEs. 739.
Sorry, Chair, on 7.38,
Yes, Honorable Mauta.
is the police also included there? If you can just go up a little bit. You mentioned health. Can the presentation go up a bit? Yeah.
Let's go
Health,
back to
education,
7.
and does social welfare include police?
Prioritize government-led projects in health, education, and so you are suggesting that we include police?
Yes, please. We need government-led projects in the police so that we curb the crime rate in the country.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Let's go back to 739. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 7.40, agreed. Honorable Bateman, Honorable Brett.
Thank you, Chair. On 7.40, my request is that we reverse the order of the focus. So we have there, the committee agrees with stakeholder concerns that any restructuring or reform of SOEs should preserve their developmental mandate, focusing on number one, equitable service delivery, number two, economic growth, and number three, job creation. Because there's an order to it. So they do what they need to do well. They provide the service. That creates the enabling environment where there can be economic growth, which includes job creation. And I think one of the dangers is that if we see SOEs as a means primarily of job creation, that we're actually going to repeat some of the mistakes of the past. And I think if we just put those things in the right order, that it'll help us just to keep focused on putting the first things first. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Bateman. Honorable Brett.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On 7.40, I've noted what my colleague has said. I'm of the opinion that 7.40 is not a true reflection of what happened thus far in committee. I would rather propose that the wording be changed slightly, not only to include my colleagues' proposals, but to read as follows, that SOEs are seen as key drivers of national development, especially in sectors, to change that SOEs are seen by stakeholders as key drivers and include what my colleague proposed, and then goes a bit further. The second sentence that is not a true reflection. The committee agrees with stakeholder concerns. Rather, the committee take note of stakeholder concerns. Then it will be a true reflection. This committee did not agree unanimously on this statement as it reads currently. So those are my two proposals. Just a slight change of wording to give a true reflection. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll have to paraphrase it to reflect what has been raised by stakeholders. Okay.
But yeah, I think we agree. We said we agree in our inputs when they came. I think we did say that we agree with stakeholder concerns that any restructuring or reform should preserve their developmental mandate. So I think that sentence is captured properly.
Okay, Honorable Mauka. We'll see how we capture what Honorable Price is raising without changing the content. 741. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Chairperson, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Honorable Brett.
Chairperson, I think Honorable Ryder was busy when I put up my hand. So maybe I will go after Honorable Ryder.
Honorable Brett, I'm chairing the meeting. Can you speak? You are a member of this committee.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Okay. When we get to 7.41, 7.41, the committee notes stakeholder concerns regarding the impact of SOE restructuring on job security. That's correct. But the next sentence, the welfare and rights of workers must be considered. That is an opinion. And that opinion comes from the stakeholders. It is not necessarily a unanimous opinion formed by this committee. So in that regard, I'm also going to propose that the committee notes stakeholder concerns regarding the welfare and rights and the rest of it. So to add In the second sentence, the committee notes stakeholder concerns regarding the welfare and rights. So that's my proposal.
Okay. Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. On a similar note, I think that one must understand the purpose of SOEs, and SOEs are there to ensure that services are provided in an affordable and sustainable manner to all South Africans or all people living in South Africa. So I think that we do need to acknowledge workers' rights throughout the process, but I think those rights can't be viewed in isolation. And I do want to therefore propose, possibly along the same lines of Mr. Brits, but just that we add at the end of 741 the comment that these need to be balanced with the effectiveness and efficiencies of SOEs for the benefit of all South Africans. Because you can't undermine the purpose of an SOE merely to provide sheltered employment. It must, I mean, people that are employed there must be treated with respect and within the law. They also need to operate well. So I'm just calling for balance, Chair, in the paragraph. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. 742. Let's go. Agreed.
Agreed, Chairperson.
Agreed. 743. Agreed. Agreed, honorable members.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Thanks. 744.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. Honorable Van Rooyen. And then Honorable Galeko.
I was struggling to raise my hand. I wanted to say something on 743, but I think it also applied to 744. I think there was an argument that our transition from fossil fuel to renewable or diversified energy sources should be done gradually, not at the expense of our natural inheritance or natural endowment, which is coal. So I'm not sure if there a way in which we can, because it seems as if here we're just referring to alternative energy sources as our platform to ensure we don't deal with, we don't subject our fiscal system to unnecessary risk. So I thought I should raise this thing of fossil fuel, because if we transit at the pace that we are doing, where we even close some of the coal stations that are meant to support our fiscal stability, I think that becomes a concern. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So let's capture the issue of transition, that it should not be disruptive. It should be done smoothly in a manner that is sustainable. Okay. 745. Service delivery challenges. Honorable Caleb.
Thank you very much, Chair. I raised my hand earlier. I was raising it for 745. Chair, I think here, as we speak about targeted efforts, we should also include the responsibility of the citizens as the committee. because active citizenry is part of what we need to oversee as a committee. So I think here on the issue of service delivery challenges, as we put responsibility to government departments and everybody else, but we should encourage the issue of active citizenry, because you cannot do targeted efforts in improving services if you leave the citizens behind. They have the responsibility. You see the vandalism of the infrastructure and everything else. So I think maybe if we can find a way of integrating the responsibility of the citizen as well, of the citizens as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Galeka Mazibuko. That will be captured. Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I just want to question at the end of that first paragraph the highlighting of the Home Affairs Department, and I'm not coming to the Home Affairs. I'm just wondering if by highlighting Home Affairs we're not excluding other departments, and you know, I want to advocate for the fact that we remove the including those at Home Affairs, because otherwise we should list all of the affected departments, and they are most. So so it's a funny thing that crept in. I don't remember it being particularly highlighted deliberations over the past 10 days or so, but I do think that by including that, we're almost limiting the impact of the paragraph and perhaps sending a message that that's who we're talking to, and the other departments shouldn't be as concerned. I'm not sure what other members think. I'm not going to die on a hill about it, but I just feel that its inclusion is unnecessary and potentially limiting.
Okay. So it's affecting communities such as infrastructure, sewer, public roads, operational challenges, including those at Home Affairs. Why should we remove Home Affairs, Honorable? Right?
Because
there is sewer
the challenges in essential public services include health, include police, include Home Affairs, include local government, etc. So I don't think that by singling Home Affairs out, we're actually helping ourselves or the narrative. You know, we can list all of them, or we can not list any of them. I would advocate for not listing any of them and have all guilty parties feeling that they are painted with the same brush, rather than having, for example, health saying, okay, well, we won't single out, and maybe it's not aimed at us.
Okay, Honorable Ryder. Honorable Swart.
Honorable Chair, no, I agree 100% with Honorable Ryder. You know, it highlights all the challenges in some of the, you know, specific challenges as highlighted in the first sentence. But now, you know, the police services, everything is and other departments not highlighted. So it just, for me also, you know, why only then including those at Home Affairs? So if we can just maybe or add the others, SABT, the South African Police Service and the health services, or just delete the last part of that sentence. Because we do have other challenges in a lot of other departments, except those service delivery challenges that is in that sentence.
Okay, Secretariat, find a way of assisting us in paraphrasing this paragraph, that we take note of the service delivery challenges. Even if we don't mention departments, but we must mention the services, whether you talk about immigration or whatever, issues of police and the like. So let's find a way of talking about services that the public is worried about. Even if we don't mention names of departments, that's not an issue. But the issue is that the public has got challenges when it comes to service delivery, and they are not happy. So please assist us. 746. Honorable Galega, I see your mic is on. You want to say something? 746.
No, it's a legacy hand, Chair, sorry.
Okay, thanks. 746, agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 747. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Debt. Agreed. 748. Municipalities defaulting. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 749. Agreed.
Sorry, Chair.
Agreed.
No, sorry, Chair.
Honorable Rider.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Just to point out again, 749 is standing committee specific. The select committee did not adopt a budget review and recommendation report. Chair, therefore, just to remove that first part of the sentence, in line with its 2024 BRRR. I don't think it changes the meaning of the paragraph at all, but it does then accommodate both committees. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, we'll leave the sentence here for the standing committee, but when you adopt the report as the select committee, like we did before with the two paragraphs, you will take them out. So this will only apply to the standing committee. Thanks. Honorable Van Rooyen.
Thank you, Chair. On 7.49, Chair, I think we emphasize on the need of cooperation also between parliament committees in as far as the aspect of accountability and oversight is concerned. So truly speaking, there are committees of parliament that are already seized with these matters. And I think those committees like SCOPA, you need to find a way of emphasizing on the need of us as parliament committees to cooperate in our efforts, to assist municipalities in this situation. So I think that should also come out clear in this report that we are really committed to work together with other parliament committees, because here the emphasis is only placed on those entities, the government entities, the state entities that are cited here. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Van Rooyen. I think in the last meeting, we agreed that we should look at the possibility of meeting the portfolio committee on COGTA, if I'm not mistaken, to discuss the challenges that are facing municipalities. So you are correct. We did discuss that in the committee. Dr. Hlophe.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. If Honorable Van Rooyen can look at 751 to check if that is not accommodated there.
Okay. No, yes, accommodated. Okay. Let's come to 750. Agreed? $750, agreed?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 751.
In order, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Van Rooyen. Honorable Rider.
Chairperson, yes, just again to note, this is specific to the standing committee and does not, will also need to be excluded for the select committee's report.
Yes, you are right, Honorable Rider. So it won't be in your report when you adopt later. Let's come to public sector wage bill and early retirement. 752. Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 753. Agreed. Agreed. Honorable members, are you there?
Yes, Chairperson, agreed.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, what happened now? Okay, yeah. 7. See this thing, yeah. 754. Agreed.
Chair.
Honorable Bateman.
Thank you, Chair. On 7.5.4, this is an interesting one, and I don't want to get into a discussion of the merits of what we mean by bloated when we speak about a bloated public sector. It is true, particularly on our frontline services, that while our wage bills have been going up and up, the number of public servants has been decreasing, and so that is a concern. I think that the question of bloating relates also, however, to the level of remuneration. That we have seen some reports, including from the National Treasury, that some public servants may be excessively remunerated relative to the market. And so I would like to also propose that we include a new item here, and I think it's probably best a point of its own, as a new item for 7.55, inserted between 7.54 and the current 7.55, to say the committee notes reports. We could say the report from the National Treasury, which suggests that some public servants may be excessively remunerated relative to the market, while it's possible that some may be under-remunerated. The committee recommends that public sector remuneration levels should be benchmarked relative to the market to ensure that government remuneration levels are market-related. I'll put that on the group.
Okay. Yeah, put it on the group, Honorable Bateman, so that we understand what you are talking about. Because there is a bargaining chamber that is responsible for issues of remuneration and NEDLEC processes, so that we know where we come in as Parliament, because we don't determine the remuneration of the public service, but we are concerned that the public service hasn't grown that much. But that as it may, it is the wage bill that is very high. Honorable Bateman.
Yes, 100% agree with that, Chair. Thank you. And I think it is of concern to us because one of the risks to the fiscal outlook, which has been mentioned by the Treasury, is in relation to the public wage bill and particularly negotiations around increases. But I think we also need to be satisfied as the Finance Committee of Parliament that the people of South Africa are getting value for the money that is being spent by the executive government on the public services, and obviously the key item there is, or one of the main items is the public sector wage bill. So I think it's well within our remit, particularly if we are saying we're questioning the characterization of a bloated public sector. that's fine. Let's question it, but then let's drill down and interrogate those reports that seem to suggest that the public sector or certain persons within the public sector might be actually excessively remunerated, and we want to drill down on that and find out, is that true? Is that not true? Because we do want to make sure that the country gets value for the taxes that we're spending on those services. And it might be that in the process of doing that, we also discover that there are significant under-remuneration, areas of significant under-remuneration, and while there might be savings on one hand, there might also be other areas where we realize that we need to top up what some public servants are earning. So that's my recommendation. I've put something on the chat there which the committee can have a look at.
Okay, thanks. 756. Agreed. Honorable members, 756.
Agreed, Chairperson.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 757.
Agreed to Chair.
Agreed. 758. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. 759. Agreed. Seven 759. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Chair.
Agreed. 7.60. Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. So what
Agreed.
yes, thanks very much. So in terms of procedure, now that we have processed the report, of course, with those, I think it's 3 or 4 items that are not applicable to the select committee. So the standing committee finance will adopt this report now, and then when we are done, and then the select committee will also adopt the report separately. We don't adopt the report jointly. So you don't leave the platform, remain in the platform. So it will first be the standing committee, then we hand over to the select committee. Honorable members of the standing committee, can a member move for the adoption of the report? Honorable Business, you are moving for the adoption.
No, Chair, our Action SA does not support the report. I don't know procedurally where that comes. Sorry, thank you.
It comes after. We first take those who move for the adoption, then those who don't support.
Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Squad.
Thanks, Chair, and morning to members. Chair, I move to support the report. Thanks.
Honorable Squad moves for the adoption of the report. Honorable Mazebu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I second the move for the adoption of the report with the inputs and the additions that were made and agreed upon by the committee. Thank you.
Seconded. I see the hand of Honorable Makuwe. Okay. Okay, there's a mover and a seconder. Any objection? Honorable Business. You can come in now.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Appreciate the guidance. And also, Action SA does not support the report. Thank you, Chair.
Action SA does not support. Can we record that? Thank you. The report has been
Chair.
adopted. Mautu.
Chair. Yeah, please register the objection of the EFF.
The EFF objection is recorded. Honorable Van Rooyen.
Chair, we reserve our position as MK Party. Society.
Okay. Let's record that the MKP has a reservation. Thanks very much, honorable members. The report has been adopted with objection and reservations. We are going to record all those positions of different parties. We are done from the side of the standing committee. Honorable Ndlovu, are you there? Chairperson.
Doctor, I'm here.
Okay. Now I hand over to you. We'll be logging out as the standing committee. Now is the meeting for the select committee to adopt the report on your own. Over to you, Honorable Chairperson, Comrade Ndlovu.
Thanks, Dr. Masanganye, and good morning, honorable members and staff and everyone in the platform. I think all of us who have been listening on the presentation of the report that has been presented, that has been chaired by Dr. Masanganye as a joint report. I think for us, we know there are 4 items, the resolutions that has not for us as a select committee. The 7.31, 7.32, 7.49 and 7.5.
Hi, Chair, can you switch off your video?
To who are saying
Chairperson, it seems you're back now, but we missed your previous inputs.
Rather, we
Chair,
are now on
your
the
signal has broken
adoption
up quite
of the
badly,
report.
and we're
We
not
are
sure
now
where.
on the adoption. Honorable members, can you hear me?
No, Chair, we are to hear
Yes, we do.
Okay. Sorry, we are on the adoption of the report. I think all of us who have been listening on the proceedings of the report that has been presented, which has been our time as Select Committee on Finance. On the adoption, we exclude the 7.31, 7.32, 7.49, and 7.51 to adopt or reject those parts. So what we are saying now, honorable members, I want to check those who are accepting, who are adopting the report, and those who are rejecting, if there is any, or those who are against.
There's a hand, Chair, from Mr.
Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, we've made several amendments to the report as it stands, as it was presented to us this morning. Through the deliberations of the committee, I think that we should accept those amendments, and therefore I'd like to propose adoption of the report as amended, including the highlighted, and I therefore move for the adoption of the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Ryder. Honorable Reda move. Honorable Malo.
Thank you very much, Chair. We have been on the report for the whole morning. Chairperson, I raise to second the adoption of this report. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Honorable Malo. Honorable Majola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we have listened to all presentations and we digested it. Madam Chair, I want to be on record that our position is reserved. Thank you.
You reserve.
Yes.
Thank you. Honorable Siwisa.
Thank you, Chair. Please note objection of the EFF. Objection of the EFF. Thank you.
EFF object. I hope that's all. It's only one objection. So we have the acceptance of the report, adoption of the report by Honorable Reda, seconded by Honorable Malo, Honorable Majola, reserved, Honorable Siwisa, object. I think that brings us to the end of our meeting, and to regard the report as
You are breaking, Chair. We can't hear you.
Thanks very much. The meeting stand adjourned. Thanks.
Okay.